Hello everyone. Got such a beautiful singing voice, don't I? Hopefully you guys are having a good Monday. We've got Polly and Creed in here. How's it going, fellas? Hopefully you're having a good day so far. We've got yet another stream. We've got a classic 90s challenge, so to speak. The reason why I just came up with this is because my video tomorrow on YouTube is going to cover some of that. Submitted 40 minutes late. I don't think it's going to be on the list then, my friend. I pulled the list right at the deadline. So yeah, you're going to have to... Maybe I'll add it next week then at that point, but then I can't go back and do it now because it's going to slow everything down. Lancelot, how's it going? But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Got nothing administratively speaking to bring up. Let me know if you guys have anything on your mind, any questions at all for me or the rest of the group. But otherwise, let's just go ahead and spin. The first beat we will listen to is from Kevin. Congratulations to Kevin. Let's see what Kev has for us. It said there were multiple instances. Oh, there's... Wait a minute. Is this from last week? Maybe... Oh, that one's not found. Let's check this one out. There we go.
Suckers are clever, because my town is full of cops and robbers. You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. So I got to get with the business and hit quick. Money grips, pockets looking thick, so I stick slick. Hold it right there, hands in the air, I know you got the loot. Or better yet, face down on the ground, empty your pockets too. Hit the deck, I got the check right on your neck. And I expect to make a buck to heck with a travel's tech. But if a Vic tries to joke me, I'll have to smoke him like I'm Smokey the Bear, so okie dokie, goodbye. A point for a yard, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me. So to the next weasel that freezes, you're begging and your pleases, only getting you closer to meeting Jesus. Yeah, I shake a schmuck just to make a buck, then I'll break a duck, and if the duck gotta get bucked, then I don't give a fuck. Hyper as a sniper, piping niggas like a plumber. Cold thinking and sticking up the ones that run the numbers. Or even the biggest store, the lady in the liquor store. Go inside, they kicking the door. Pull her, then I'm sticking it for money all your life, honey. Hurry and choose, but you lose because I got the ill street blues.
All right, that was Kev's beat there. I was not expecting that. Lancelot says, hope the launch of the plugin went successfully. I've been very happy so far. It's been going very well. Steady amount of interest and downloads and purchases. And it doesn't feel like, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't feel like I have to do too much to sort of convince people. I think for the right type of person, the plugin is exactly what they need. I'm very excited for the update, although I got word from my developer it might be a little bit of time. They currently have a small project up until probably December, and then after that they'll get started on it. So it's probably going to be Q1, Q2 of next year. But in the meantime, even at its current state, people do seem to enjoy it, so very happy. Creed says, oh my god, the drum groove is crazy. The POI is very nice. I love trumpets. Love the sample, but vocals are a bit buried and it does not look super aligned with the vocals. Mix-wise, it's a bit cluttered, says Creed, but the beat slaps. The beat was cool, says T-Rex. Graham, how's it going? The beat doesn't fit the vibe of the lyrics, says Creed. Yeah, so my feeling in terms of just the actual beat itself, I think this is probably the best beat I've heard from Kev. Phenomenal work, great patterns were built. I really loved the brass layer, the trumpets, and then the bass line. You had this really jumpy bass line. It's probably the most complex pattern, but then the a little bit more simplified trumpet sounded great along with it. Drum work was phenomenal. I loved the way the drums sat and sounded in the beat. Yeah, the great drum rolls. All the textures that were used were on point as well. I know for a lot of producers, they use like very separate. When they try to build their drum patterns, they end up trying to Frankenstein multiple different kinds of drums together, and it feels very detached from each other. I feel like the fact that Kev, it sounds like he used a drum break, and it sounds so fluid and works phenomenally. It's a great choice there. Yeah, just from a standalone perspective, the beat was awesome, really phenomenal. I do agree with you guys in that once the vocals did come in, they did feel like they were getting a bit buried, and I think it's for a few reasons why. As you guys can hear with the drum break, it does have that really prominent ride and crash in order to fill up the high end or the higher end of the drum break. And those are very long, sustained types of textures, and so already those are going to fill up a lot of space. So you can hear the crashes going through the entirety of the loop. Not to mention, we also have this highly sustained core POI sound of the trumpets. Well, they do sound phenomenal. Again, they are going to take up a lot of space, and so because of that, as you guys mentioned, once the vocals do come in,
Niggas like a plumber,
kind of
cold picking and sticking up the ones that run the numbers, or even the biggest store, the lady in the liquor store, go inside they kicking it.
So what I probably would have done, well, one thing that I sort of picked up on is closer towards the end here, when the trumpets aren't playing, it does feel like it has a little bit of a better balance.
Puller than I'm sticking it for money all your life, honey, hurry and choose, but you lose because I got the ill street blues.
It's like little brief pockets here and there when that sort of synth comes in. Regardless, I would say to either go into the drum loop and maybe do your best to find sections of that drum loop that don't have that ride, or do some filtering on the actual sample and sort of create a verse hook type of thing, and maybe substituting out that trumpet and then just using that really cool synth that you had.
Lose, but you lose because I honey, hurry and blood, and I'm sticking it for door. Go inside they kicking the door.
Yeah, that one right there.
And I'm sticking it for money or
so I think a little bit of repositioning and it's just thinking about how to get a better amount of balance in the beat would be the next step. But in terms of just a raw beat, in terms of Kevin's progression overall, this feels like a huge step forward, a huge jump forward in his production ability. So that was really encouraging and phenomenal to hear. Need the 2 activations ASAP. That will definitely be in place for the next version. So yeah, You won't have to pay for the upgrade, by the way. So we'll get that in there ASAP. I kind of like the chaotic. I kind of like how chaotic the trumpets are, but try decreasing the mids so there's more room for cool G-rap. Yeah, I think some sort of EQing to sort of control just how prominent they are. They sound phenomenal. Like, I don't think they sound bad, but I think just a little bit of rebalancing and some concerted effort to get a little bit of a better balance in the beat could have helped. Right, next up, let's see what Andy Lee's got for us. By the way, did you guys find this challenge difficult? Let me know. Or is this one of the easier acapellas?
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or throwing hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some bacon, because I'm dead and stinking. So's all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up? Black, give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us. Thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to this other section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money, next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, no, and hope he don't get caught.
Very short idea there, but that was really good as well. I enjoyed this one a lot, says Polly. Big Havoc vibes with that ominous piano sample. I found the challenge super stimulating, says Lancelot. Did 4 beats around it. Cool G is so playful and provides a lot of possibilities and groove. Yeah, I feel like with his rapping performance, it doesn't feel too like off the grid, or it doesn't feel too unpredictable. I think he's like a very consistent rapper with a lot of presence, so there's a lot of room for you to build ideas around his rapping, and it will still work. I like acapella challenges in this one with the classic boom bap vibe was great. The core loop is great, but add more layers to the arrangement, says NDN Man. Great bounce in the drums and cool piano sample. Yeah, I definitely agree. T-Rex is fire. Great patterns in here, great textures as well. All the choices were very, very smart. In terms of getting it to sound full, I don't necessarily think more layers needed to be added in. I think just bringing up the volume of some of the textures, or even just adding a little bit of sort of width to them, changing their shape so they're a little bit more fat, kind of helped.
Because I'm dead and stinking, so's all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my side.
Yeah, I probably would have taken that piano. As you guys can hear, it feels very, very back and sort of pushed back in terms of the depth. While I don't think that's a bad move, I think maybe just duplicating that piano and taking that sort of strike portion of it and having it be a little bit more dry could just be enough to get the beat to sound a tiny bit more full. I think that would have been enough to get the beat to sound a little bit more fleshed out, but not necessarily. I don't think the beat requires a new layer altogether. Yeah, the bass line was really on point as well. Great drum loop as well. And those small little details of like the percussive elements that were added in were on point as well. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job. Yeah, I think just bringing up the drier portion of that piano would have been enough. Outside of that, I thought it would have been cool to hear a little bit more arrangement ideas. So one of the hard parts about making a beat like this, which is that it is inherently going to feel a little bit repetitive since it's the same chords striking over and over again. So you're gonna have to put a little bit more work in order to get your full 3-4 minute beat to sound non-repetitive. And I think the fact that this beat is only 56 seconds kind of was a reason to sort of opt out of having to do arrangement work. So I think adding more sort of ideas into this beat, or changing those chords, adding smaller phrases into the beat. Every once in a while, you don't necessarily have to change the entire beat, much like what The Alchemist does, where if he has like a very repetitive core idea, you'll hear he'll bring in these musical phrases for every like 4 bars. Small things like that can go a long way. So I would have liked to see a little bit more arrangement ideas in here, but nonetheless, a great starting point here. T-Rex says, I can agree on the layers with the arrangement. So yeah, great starting point with this beat, Andy. I think just I would like to see where else it could go beyond what you've built, but what you have built, excellent work. We got Kai Meister General. All right. Let's see what Kai came up with for this challenge.
Because my town is full of cops and robbers. You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. So I got to get with the business and hit quick. Money grips, pockets looking thick, so I stick slick. Hold it right there, hands in the air, I know you got the loot. Or better yet, face down on the ground, empty your pockets too. Hit the deck, I got the check right on your neck. And I expect to make a bucks, to heck with a travel's check. But if a Vic tries to joke me, I'll have to smoke him like I'm Smokey the Beer. So okie dokie, goodbye. A boy voyage, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me. So to the next weasel that freezes, you're begging and your pleases, only getting you closer to meeting Jesus. Yeah, I shake a smut just to make a buck, then I'll break a duck. And if the duck gotta get bucked, then I don't give a fuck. Hyper as a sniper, piping niggas like a plumber. Cold thinking and sticking up the ones that run the numbers. Or even the biggest, called the lady in the liquor store. Go inside, then kicking the door. Pull her, then I'm sticking it for money all your life, honey. Hurry and choose, but you lose because I got the ill street blues. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got the ill street blues.
Kai's beat there. Interesting. Lee mentions that this beat needs more textures. How's it going, Lee? Yeah, a little bit of a odd beat here for me. Good amount of balance. I didn't necessarily feel as though the beat was like overpowering or anything. So I think the way that it was constructed around the vocals was okay enough. I think the arrangement as well, the fact that Kai sort of created multiple ideas was encouraging to see. Lancelot says cool vibes provided by the chops. Not sure if it's the right sample structure for this acapella. And yeah, I think I appreciate the amount of like layering that was going on in this beat. But fundamentally, just like you guys are mentioning, I just don't feel as though the sound itself that was used to build this beat, it didn't feel as though it was compelling enough. Like, I'm not exactly sure what this main instrument even is. I guess it's like a string sample or something. Yeah, and it sounds like Kai did a good job of layering his own piano on top of it, but it doesn't necessarily feel like either of those textures are like unique or compelling. The pattern that was built as well, this sort of like upwards pattern, I don't know, it just didn't necessarily feel as though it matched this sort of rough, aggressive 90s rapping. It sort of felt like a light, happy, sort of carefree type of feel to the beat, whereas the rapping was very different from that. So yeah, I think just the fundamental choice of samples used, just like Lancelot mentioned, just sort of undermined where the beat went, and it just, for me personally, did not connect with me. Maybe you guys feel differently. I think Kai said he used sampled horns. Okay, those are horns. Lee, you mentioned you just submitted now. So the deadline was an hour and a half ago. I can't go in partway through the stream and find new submissions. It would just be too disruptive. It sounds like a sample from another song. I just can't remember the one. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the sample is, but I don't know, it just didn't personally feel like it connected or worked with me. I think everything that was done around the sample sort of made sense and it worked. And it was really impressive to see the piano layering and stuff. It worked perfectly with the pattern that was built. Using the sample, again, I think it's just the sample choice was just a little bit curious for me. Potion Seller, looks like Potion Seller is next. Let's see what potions we have in store.
Maybe my acumen's on par with Gucci rapping and maybe my acumen's on par with Gucci rapping and on par with Gucci rapping and maybe my acumen with Gucci rapping and I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or dough in hand, kicking a can, thinking of a bank to pull some banking because I'm dead and stinking. So all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac. Yo, baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side. Not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send up my sister Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, to hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract him, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back, shut up the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody that gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues.
Alright, that's Potion Seller's beat. Very interesting. Alright, let's see what the chat is saying. Love the bassist Lancelot, slight RZA vibes from this. I like this one. Guitar chops are also dope. Feels like the beat never resolves, but has nice elements, says Lee. I like the piano chord stabs a lot. Fantastic beat, but I don't think the acapella flow lines up well with it. Sitting the vocals in a different pocket, it kind of works though. Core of the beat is solid, tough drums, the guitar chops are cool, nice stuff going on the top end. Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. I really love the patterns that were built here. Great chops that were used from the sample. Multiple different chops were used as well. We had like different phrases and the beat evolved over time. And that didn't necessarily feel like it was a completely different beat, which was good. There was like this sort of connectivity between all the beat ideas. The patterns that were built around the sample, namely the bass and the drum patterns, were definitely on point as well. I thought everything came together phenomenally here for Potion Seller. I think the one thing that jumped out to me was the stereo presence felt a bit lopsided. As you noticed, we have like the guitar. It's on the far right channel, but there's nothing sort of equivalent on the left channel. And it sort of jumped out to me, especially during the rapping, where we have, the main portion of the beat in the middle, which is where you want it. We have the rapping in the middle, which is where you want it. Then you have this really dominant guitar strumming playing on the right side, but nothing else. And it kind of just felt a little bit uneven because
thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or doing hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a blank to pull some banking because I'm dead and stinking. So all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs.
So what I probably would have done in this is taking a stereo shaper, which allows you to control just what the volume is on the actual like far left and right channel. And I probably would have taken what's in the right channel, just decrease the volume, or you can just simply put the sample a little bit more closer into mono. And what you could even do is, like, say you have something far right and in the middle, and that's like your only two ideas. If you squash it a little bit more mono, it'll bring everything closer together, but you'll still have most of the information, or the beat will start to feel like it's slightly tilted towards the right. And so if you, at that point, after you mono or put things a little bit more into mono, and then you pan everything closer to the left, all of a sudden that main part of your sample will sit slightly to the left, and then you'll have that strumming a little bit to the right, and then you'll probably get a little bit of a better balance that way. But as of right now, with something like the main part of the loop over here and that strumming all the way on the right side, just feels a bit lopsided. So yeah, I think outside of that, I really like this beat. Really love the work that was done into the arrangement as well. Great sample usage and chopping. So yeah, Potion Seller, great job there as well. Great job on a lot of these beats so far. You guys are, I feel like these acapella challenges really bring out the best in the gang. 260 beats. Here we go.
Cause I got the Elm Street blues. Cause I got the Elm Street blues. I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or doing hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a prank to pull some banking because I'm dead and stinking. So all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up? Black, give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us. Thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns still be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money, next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, but hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract them, while I go and whack them. Enter through the back side of the bar and then attack them. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the Elm Street blues. Cause I got the Elm Street blues.
All right, that was 260s beat there. Very different direction with that beat. The beat is amazing in my opinion, says Lee, but the vocals don't match. Lancelot says not sure about the vocals, but sound selection and pattern is on point for a Drake type beat. Cool G R&B. I like it though. I think a Drake acapella would work better with his beat choice, but the arrangement on the beat itself is really smooth. Yeah, I feel similar to you guys, as you said, or as I said, very different direction with this beat. I still feel as though it could work. It's almost like this. I remember hearing this interview of, I think it was Q-Tip or Havoc, or maybe even Prodigy, who talked about like their rapping is meant to be like the dark, whereas the beat is supposed to be the light. Sort of this interesting dichotomy of like someone rapping about some heavy stuff, but then the beat itself feels very light. So you can go sort of with that direction with this beat where it did have this interesting smooth feel to it. It's sort of like Can't Knock the Hustle by Jay-Z. So yeah, a lot of interest. It's a sort of interesting approach here. I liked the vocal sample in the beat as well. I thought that worked well. It was like very well. What am I trying to say? It worked well with the piano idea. It felt as though it didn't take up too much room. It was a very slight, small detail, but it added a lot of character into the beat. I think the one thing that I would probably suggest, it felt to me as though there was a little bit too much negative space in the beat in terms of parts of the beat, whereas nothing was playing outside of the drums. One technique that I noticed analyzing a lot of like Kanye's beats is that whenever he has these ideas that have these really rich, big pianos, he'll layer a pad right underneath it. And so that helps you fill up space. And if depending on what kind of pad you use, it can be a great way to have very interesting texture play while your main sound, like the piano in this beat, isn't playing. You can literally just like copy and paste and mimic exactly what the piano chords are doing. And so that way you just have a little bit more space filled up in the beat. And it will be at a very unique texture depending on what you choose. So it's a small detail you can think about just because, like I mentioned, whenever the piano wasn't playing and there were pockets where that vocal wasn't playing either, it was basically just drums. And so it sort of didn't feel like there was enough personality at that point. So yeah, just a small detail you can think about, but very interesting reimagining of the beat there by 260. It kind of worked. I liked it. I didn't mind it. It seems the chat is somewhat divided in terms of whether that is an appropriate beat for that acapella. But personally, like I mentioned, I didn't mind it too much. Shawshank Redemption. All right, here we go.
I left to smoke 'em like I'm Smokey the Bear. So okie dokie, goodbye. A boy for yards, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me. So to the next weasel that freezes, you're begging and your pleases only getting you closer to meeting Jesus. Yeah, I shake a smuck just to make a buck. Then I break a duck, and if the duck gotta get bucked, then I don't give a fuck. Hyper as a sniper, piping niggas like a plumber. Cold thinking and sticking up the ones that run the numbers. Or even the biggest called the lady in the liquor store. Go inside, they kicking the door. Pull out, then I'm sticking it for money all your life, honey. Hurry and choose, but you lose because I got the ill street blues.
All right, that was Shashank's beat. Great sample there. And a great use of the sample. Already love the panning and sound selection. It reminds me of Pete Rock, says Lancelot. Nice arrangement, says Polly. I like the transition to the vocal, says Lee. Yeah, it's a really cool idea of just dropping the entire sample and just having the drums and the bass. I was somewhat curious how the beat would sound once the sample came back in, but I thought it was on point. Polly says that was great. I definitely agree. Great sample choice, great sample usage. The patterns that were built around it were phenomenal. I love the small little details. You guys could hear the layering of like the piano and the strings that would come in and out. Everything sounded fluid. Shout out to that movie First Man. First Man with Ryan Gosling. This challenge made me nervous. Looking forward to the feedback. I like how this one flows, says T-Rex. So yeah, I think outside of maybe like a tiny bit of compression on the master just to get things a little bit louder and glued together, in terms of like the composition, the arrangement, the sampling, everything was phenomenal and on point. I don't necessarily have a bone to pick with this beat. Love the sample choice. Great patterns and bass lines that were built with it. Yeah, like I don't have anything negative or critical to say. I'm gonna bring this table down because my back is hurting. Ugh. But yeah, great job on this beat. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been talking more and more about how I enjoy harp type beats, and so it was fun to hear that one. Anything that you guys picked up on in terms of what you feel could have been improved? Because to me it sounded pretty much on point. I would listen to this on a daily basis, says Lancelot. High praise there. Next up, let's see what Thion Green has for us with his beat.
Right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or dough in hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some bacon, because I'm dead and stinking. So's on my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the southern section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, but hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract them, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back, shut up the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody that gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues. Suckers are clobber, because my town is full of cops and robbers. You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. So I got to get with the business and hit quick. Money grips, pockets looking thick, so I stick slick. Hold it right there, hands in the air, I know you got the loot. Or better yet, face down on the ground, empty your pockets too. Hit the deck, I got the tech right on your neck. And I expect to make a bucks to heck with a traveler's check. But if a Vic tries to joke me, I'll have to smoke him like I'm Smokey the Bear. So okie dokie, goodbye. A .5 yards, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me. So to the next weasel that freezes, your begging and your pleases only getting you closer to meeting Jesus. Yeah, I shake a schmuck just to make a buck. Then I'll break a duck, and if the duck gotta get bucked, then I don't give a fuck. Hyper as a sniper, piping niggas like a plumber. Cold figgin' and sticking up the ones that run the numbers. Or even the biggest, call the lady in the liquor store. Go inside, they kicking the door. Pull her, then I'm sticking it for. Money all your life, honey, hurry and choose, but you lose. Because I got the ill street blues.
Alright, that was Thion's beat. T the Trippy. T-Rex. I wish I could have spent more time on this, but I wanted to do something. Well, it's awesome that you actually force yourself to submit something. I think a lot of people would just get caught up in, I need to make this perfect before I submit. But good job on actually submitting this nonetheless, and holding yourself accountable. Polly says, I prefer when the beat has a chance to get going before the vocals come in. Lee mentions, I feel like the low piano and bass are clashing, but the vibe is there. Yeah, my thoughts with this beat, as you guys heard, there's a little bit of a different approach with this beat as well. Thinner drums were used. We don't necessarily have like a dense boom bap drum pattern. We have this very thin side stickish snare.
Bill blast my side, they'll be back. Section of tiptoe. No, hope we
got no hi-hats, so it's just a kick and a very thin snare-ish thing.
So now we gotta get rid of them.
And so whenever you put less emphasis on drums, more space will have to be filled up, and more of the beats sort of personality has to be built through the actual instruments. What Thion did with this beat, I thought the patterns are really great. Really good blend of different patterns. I actually like that bass line especially. I just think that for the majority of this beat, a little bit more, maybe an extra layer could have been added in, because for the most part, it's just a piano. And like I mentioned, with the drums being as thin as they are, I think just having something a little bit beyond a piano, while the pattern was good and the placement of that piano was really, really on point, I thought just maybe adding one more layer would have been nice. Which did happen at like $1.50 here. We had those bells come in.
I'll have to smoke them like I'm Smokey the Bear, so okie dokie, goodbye. A .5 yards, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me.
So what I like about those bells is they feel a little bit more dry. They're a little bit more close and up front, and then we have that really washed out piano in the back. And this is the part of the beat where it felt like it filled up a little bit more and felt like more of a complete idea, a complete beat. So I probably would have brought in that bell a little bit earlier and have that be part of the main idea of this beat, part of the main loop, as opposed to just a small detail that eventually showed up. Yeah, we do have that really interesting brass that also appears in this section, but it just doesn't feel, again, it doesn't have that personality much like that bell does. This brass sort of lead sound feels more like a utilitarian sound, something that is just meant to fill up space. It doesn't have much personality to it. So yeah, I probably would have just brought that bell idea in a little bit earlier, because that feels as though it brings a personality to this beat. T says, they are indeed bass and pianos clashing. I wasn't the most intentional with this. I just wanted to accomplish the basic of the acapella to a new beat for sure. Yeah, so yeah, like I mentioned, even though you feel like you want to work on this a little bit more, I do think it's important to at least try to submit and get something in, as opposed to just getting caught up in, I want to make it perfect, and then never submitting and then never getting feedback on your beat. So I just do want to say good job on that for sure. Next up, Flip G Dub. let's see what young Flip has for us.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or dough in hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a prank to pull some banking, because I'm dead and stinking. So's all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, your baby will be back. Truck right on the side, not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the southern section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, but hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract him, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back, shut of the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues. Cause I got the ill street blues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Suckers are clever, because my town is full of cops and robbers. You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. So I got to get with the business and hit quick. Money grips, pockets looking thick, so I stick slick. Hold it right there, hands in the air, I know you got the loot. Or better yet, face down on the ground, empty your pockets too. Hit the deck, I got the tech right on your neck. And I expect to make a bucks to heck with a traveler's check. But if a Vic tries to joke me, I'll have to smoke him like I'm Smokey the Bear. So okie dokie, goodbye. A point for yards, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me. So to the next weasel that freezes, you're begging and your pleases, only getting you closer to meeting Jesus. Yeah, I shake a schmuck just to make a buck, then I'll break a duck, and if the duck gotta get bucked, then I don't
we'll
give
give
a
it
fuck.
a bit of a fade out. Seems like same thing that plays over and over again. It goes for another double of what we already heard. T-Rex says it was an oboe. Gotcha. This is different, but I still like it. Cool G jungle, cool percussion, great vibe. Feel like it needs more drums though. Damn, this is wild, great arrangement. I like the idea of not putting the snare and focus on a percussion groove. I like the idea of not putting a snare and focus on a percussive groove. Something feels off though. Kick should have been centered. Drums with more transients are needed, says Lee. Yeah, I thought it's a really unique idea. I really like the textures in this beat, especially that really cool slowed down bell was such a phenomenal texture. Has like this really cool warping and like wobble to it. Combined with that string, it really feels like a really dark, interesting composition. But like you guys mentioned, what feels off to me at least was that the drums were like, just the overall wideness of this beat was one thing that sort of jumped out to me as a little bit strange, but especially that the drums feel like they're completely panned pretty hard.
Town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope.
Yeah, it feels like the vocals are the only thing in the center and everything else is like pushed wide to the left and right. I don't think that is a good idea personally. Typically you want the beat to also be very centered in the middle, and that becomes part of the challenge of how can you arrange your beat and compose it and have your sound sit in a way where it feels complementary to the vocals, but it doesn't get in the way. This sort of idea of just, I'm going to take all my sounds and pan them extreme left and right, and that will be the way I have space for my vocals. I don't necessarily think that's the way most beats, like 99.99% of beats are made. This is like a technique that was done, like in the 60s or 70s for some songs. But nonetheless, with a lot of beat making, you want to figure out a way to have your sounds sit closer towards the middle and get them to sound balanced nonetheless. Paulie says, I would have liked some snare to latch onto for the beat as well. Yeah, I think had the beat been a little bit more centered, maybe it would be just a little bit easier to focus on that sound, having that sort of consistent backing. Because there is that really prominent side stick playing over and over again that does have a very consistent rhythm.
But Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him.
But the fact that it's panned so hard right, that maybe it just doesn't feel like it's something you should be focusing on, or it doesn't feel like it's part of the core of the beat. So yeah, I think really, really great ideas in this beat. I love the way that the choices that were made for the sounds and the effects used on them, but I just think this very strange placement of instrumentation was something that I would probably change. So yeah, I would like to hear that beat, how it would sound with a little bit more of a mono presence. I think it would sound good still. I think with the way the instruments are chosen and built, it would sound fine. So I'm not quite sure why there was such extreme panning. Lancelot, Sir Lance, let's see what you got for us. Lance mentioned he made 4 different beats, and this is the one that he went with.
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or throwing hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some bacon, because I'm dead and stinking. So's on my shoes, winging, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us. Thinking about who gotta get robbed, because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year, ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short, cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, and hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract them, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back side of the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues.
What? Sorry about that. I was still writing. Let me quickly rewind
For us.
here.
They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year, ripping off his coffin.
Interesting. I like this sample usage a lot. Great melodic progression within the sample. This is it G. I like the variation and the repetitive melody. Really cool progression. Yeah, definitely agree with you guys. I really love the way that this
Open
idea is
wide
built.
quick, who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side.
Really awesome ideas within this beat. Great drum work along with the sample. I really loved the core feel of the beat. It's just a great match of the sample with the vocals. I especially love when the actual full phrase of the sample plays as well. That end piece there.
Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year, ripping off his coffin.
So yeah, that was the things that I really liked in the beat. One thing that I just played there for you guys, one idea that I would possibly recommend is that whenever you have a part of your sample that, let's say the core of the sample feels a little bit too melodic, and so you chop it up in a way where you have this sort of long repetitive phrase, and then we just heard with the Lancelot's loop, towards the end he brings in the full sample at like maybe the 4th bar, but bars 1 through 3 they might be a little bit more straightforward and like repetitive, so to speak.
Message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year, ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts.
So for example, that section, whenever I have those types of opportunities, I think about exactly what I talk about in the course, which is that you want that sort of variation of complexity with your patterns. So here we have the sample that is fundamentally just playing one single note constantly over and over again with the way you chopped it. And so at that point, that gives you gives you a great opportunity to then take that bass line that you built and just come up with something a little bit more musical. Because as of right now, it's pretty much doing exactly what the sample is doing, which is playing that one single note over and over again.
Who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us? They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paid.
So yeah, I think that could have been an opportunity to add a little bit more variation and get your core loop just to feel, it's just a great way to get your beat to just not feel as repetitive or monotonous, so to speak. Always think about the idea of, adding complexity to the beat. That was the one and only thing that I felt you could have done to just add a little bit more layer of detail into the beat. But in terms of the core fundamentals, phenomenal job here. I really love this beat. I think this might be my favorite beat of yours so far, Lance. Great work with the sample especially, and building around it. Everything felt fluid. I struggle with the drums and the snare though. The bass is from the sample. I will play with your plugin to build something. So yeah, that's one of the advantages of hopefully your DAW, or even if you use Serato sample. It does allow for stem splitting, and so what you could do is literally just copy and paste what your sample is doing into two things of Serato. Literally just clone it out, play the exact same pattern in both for most of the beat, and then for that part where you want to have that switch up, you can go into your first layer, remove the bass, go into your second layer, have only the bass, and then there's that keyboard mode where it just allows you to build your own pattern using that one single note of bass if you want. So that's one way you could have sort of played around with it. I think whenever you're using the bass from the sample, it doesn't have to be this sort of, it doesn't have to sort of lock you into being stuck with whatever the bass is doing. There's definitely ways around sort of breaking the sample apart and then building your own ideas with the textures within the sample. So it's something you can think about. All right, let's keep on spinning. Let's see what Trouble T-Roy's got for us. And then we're almost done after this. There's two beats by T-Roy. I think I accidentally pulled the other ones, so I'll just grab this one here. Hello. There we go.
Yeah, word up, word the mother. They come to you out with another one, y'all. You gonna swing this like this. I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or doing hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some bacon, because I'm dead and stinking. So's on my shoes winging, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, your baby will be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, and hope he gon' get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract them, while I go and whack them. Enter through the back side of the bar and then attack them. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues.
L Street. L Street.
Suckers are clobber, because my town is full of cops and robbers. You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. So I got to get with the business and hit quick. Money grips, pockets looking thick, so I stick slick. Hold it right there, hands in the air, I know you got the loot. Or better yet, face down on the ground, empty your pockets too. Hit the deck, I got the tech right on your neck. And I expect to make a bucks to heck with a traveler's deck. But if a Vic tries to joke me, I'll have to smoke him like like I'm Smokey the Bear, so okie dokie. Goodbye, a boy's voyage, have a good journey. Don't even try begging for your life, that don't concern me. So to the next weasel that freezes, you're begging and your pleases, only getting you closer to meeting Jesus. Yeah, I shake a smut just to make a buck, then I break the duck, and if the duck gotta get bucked, then I don't give a fuck. Hyper as a sniper, piping niggas like a plumber. Cold thinking and sticking up the ones that run the numbers. Or even the biggest, called the lady in the liquor store. Go inside the kick in the door, pull her, then I'm sticking it for money all your life, honey, hurry and choose, but you lose, because I got the ill street blues.
L Street. L Street. L Street.
Extra, read all about it in the papers. The boss tried to rape us, so we tossed them off the skyscraper. Because she brought us some out for people to come and hit us. Get us, but none of them did us. He must be trying to kid us, but that's dead. I'm fake, got in the red, crossed the bread, borders, cause nobody can short us. We fled down the headquarters, ready to put some work, and we're not a lazy crew. I do a job or two, but yo, my man can't even stick me with some crazy glue. Ready to tour and even more because he's foreign. We took out all those lookouts out the front and kicked this door in. What's up, snake? Watch it violate. They call them a hassa. Yo, that's a pig, let them fly straight. Getting ready to jab him. I grabbed him by the necktie. Homie tried to get fly and swing. I gave him a deck tie. You know the evil the men do. Hell is where the men go. They snatched him by his hands and feet and threw him out the window. Up, in the way, cause I don't play clown. But, take that with you on the way down. I'm hoping you got springs and wings on your shoes, but you lose, cause I got the ill street blues.
L Street. L Street.
All right, that was T-Roy's beat, a full-on remix. That was probably my favorite beat that T-Roy's come up with. A lot of great work with that beat. Love the vibe. I feel like the structure could be reconsidered in the beginning to match the flow, but after it works well, says Lancelot. The beat is bonkers, well done, says T-Rex. Polly says definitely getting a bit of a 90s vibe from some of these sound selections, says Polly. Sexy, dangerous vibe, says Lancelot. Yeah, I think really, really good job with his beat. I really love the bass, great drum pattern as well. It works. And it sort of builds a really great solid foundation, both of those layers. The details in this beat weren't over the top, so this is something that with T-Roy's beats I'm always sort of like worried about, of just sound stuffing and a little bit too many ideas that go in different places that don't make sense. With this beat, everything felt like it had a great balance. We had that really interesting sort of blaring alarm synth sound come in and out, and I felt like that was enough of detail for this beat to feel full. And the one thing that was most encouraging was that we just heard one beat. With a lot of T-Roy's old sort of ideas, they would be like 2 or 3 beats put into one, but he did a really solid job of coming up with a core idea here. He sounded like he believed in it, and the chat also agrees. The beat is bonkers, and it was good, encouraging to see that, you know, once you have that one strong idea, you don't need to create switch ups every 30 minutes. You don't need to, or sorry, not every 30 seconds in the beat. You don't need to stuff all these tiny little details. If the core idea is strong enough, the beat will just feel fun to listen to, and I think that's exactly what the chat agrees with. So yeah, I think that was really awesome and encouraging. I think even just doing small little drops, like at 3:20, T-Roy dropped the bass here.
What the men do, hell is where the men go. They snatched him by his hands and feet and threw him out the window. Up, in the way, cause I don't play clown. Take that with you on the way down.
Yeah, that was a really cool idea, and it worked with the actual rapping. So just small ideas of just dropping certain sounds every once in a while can be an easy way to just have enough of a difference where it sort of keeps the audience pulled in. But overall, really awesome job, T-Roy. I'm really happy to hear what he came up with this challenge. Solid work through and through. Next up, we got Damien. I know Polly's patiently waiting, Graham as well. We will get through all the beats today. Do not worry.
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or going hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some banking, because I'm dead and stinking. So's all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a snack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us. Thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next you're ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, and hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract him, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back side of the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and jigged him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues.
Alright, that's Damien's beat there. The If I Made It series. Amazing bass presence, says Lancelot. Polly says love that bass tone. I think with this beat, while I did really like the bass as well as the drum work, fundamentally I feel like the beat just did not have a strong POI. The piano riff wasn't enough for me, and that sax, while it did fill up a little bit of space, just kind of felt repetitive and like dry. I would have ideally liked to hear like a longer sax phrase play and maybe have that be more integral to the actual beat, whereas this kind of just felt like an added sort of layer on top as like an afterthought. Polly says cool use of effects, beat sounded pretty full despite only having a few core instruments. I do think that the drums and the bass did go a long way in getting the beat to sound full, but in terms of like what's the beat's personality, what is its character, I just didn't necessarily feel like anything jumped out to me that would have sort of helped me think about this beat in a week from now and be like, oh, I remember that beat. Lancelot says the bass is the POI for me, but it would need breaks and variations. Yeah, I do think there are times when a bass line can be a POI, but like you mentioned, I think just having it not be as sort of repetitive might be a necessary step if you want to go down that way. Yeah, I think it's just like a good starting point, but it just feels like it just needs a little bit more.
Cause I'm dead and stinking, so's all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a short, repetitive one-bar loop that has this additional layer come in and out every once in a while. Maybe if a more variation in the actual textures. So if you do want to have that bass and the drums be that sort of cornerstone, that foundation in the beat, having more than just, you know, that piano play and then having that same riff play and having both be, you know, half bar loops or one bar loops, I think you just need a little bit more beyond that. So yeah, I feel like it's a good starting point, just needs more ideas in it that make the beat feel like it's more varied, just because, you know, that beat was like a minute and a half and it kind of already started to feel like I was sort of understood exactly where I was going to go after like 30 seconds. Pauly G finally has been selected. I wish I knew it was the beat name. Here we go. Polly's beat there. I wish I knew the name. Let's see what the chat is saying. Really cool vibe with the vocal sample and the groovy bass line. So much dopeness today with all the beats submitted. I definitely agree. This has been an impressive challenge with what you guys have come up with. I love you seeing trying new stuff. I like the overall sound selection and progression. Bass sounds a bit too much though, says Lancelot. Yeah, from my perspective, I really love the really interesting vocal processing there. It sounds like you use like a bit of a reverb on it or something. Or is that native to the actual acapella? Really interesting idea there. I really like the smart idea with how you process the drums. You could hear the rides in the drum break feel very faint, and so they don't overpower the beat. So I thought that was a really smart decision as well. I really love the core, so the sort of core sound and idea, that sort of reversed. I don't know exactly what the instrument is, but I thought that was a really cool texture to use. I would say that I picked up on what Lancelot is mentioning, which is that I think it probably is the bass line that is overpowering, not only in terms of the volume, but just like I mentioned with the idea of movement, the fact that so many short stabby notes are being used just really helps, or really pulls the audience's ear to that bass line, because it feels more prominent, it has more movement than sometimes like the rapping feels like it has. Especially with the sort of, I'm not sure exactly, yeah, slap echo. So yeah, it feels like the acapella is slightly being pushed back in the beat because of that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but pairing that with this really dominant, powerful bass line, and with what it sounds like a tiny bit of bit crushing on the actual sample itself, it feels as though we just have the instrumentation being pushed forward slightly more than the actual vocal itself.
They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns can't be paying for protection. They want us to send up message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money that you're ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he's new.
So yeah, it feels like with the treatment of the sounds and the way that the patterns are built, the vocal almost feels as though it is like the secondary component in the beat. So yeah, just small little things like that. Be careful of. It's a really interesting idea of that concept of like movement, and how even like a normal straightforward pattern, but just using such short notes can end up making your beat feel like it's pulling away from the actual focus of the acapella. Hopefully that makes sense. So I think just making those minor adjustments would probably get the beat to feel a little bit more like of a traditional balance. But some really cool ideas in here for sure. I really love that echo idea, and you're really smart with how you program the drums as well. I think it's just those small other details that kind of ended up pulling away or detracting. Right, 3 more beats left. Let's hear what Graham has for us here. Here we go.
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or dough in hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a prank to pull some banking, because I'm dead and stinking. So's on my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs in my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick, bust up, black, give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, yo baby, we'll be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns dare be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, and hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract them, while I go and whack them. Enter through the back side of the boat and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody that gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues.
Cool little arrangement ideas in there for sure. Wicked Groove, says Pauly G. Yeah, it's a really interesting beat. I love especially the way that the sample is used with that low pass filter on it. I feel like that had a great amount of balance and made the beat sound really full and yet had a lot of room for rapping. This section here. So yeah, great job of having the patterns have a good amount of balance as well. We have that really bouncy bass line, but then that sample pattern is being a little bit more straightforward, so we have a good amount of complexity there. Cool details as well. And then later on in the beat, we have this sort of same layer, but then the sound comes back in.
You distract them while I go and whack them. Enter through the back side of the boat and then attack them. He's screaming for his.
And really cool idea of, it sounds like there's multiple layers being used, and then you're sort of cutting that string sample to play intermittently to have a little bit more control over the beat. So it's really smart production ideas within this beat for sure. This arrangement is so crazy, says Indian Man. So yeah, really awesome job there. I think the one thing out of this may be a personal pet peeve of mine. You guys can let me know if this is something that you feel stands out to you. But this sort of, I just talked earlier in the stream about this sort of Frankenstein approach to drums. And it feels like whenever there's very disparate, very different sounding drum textures, it kind of makes the beat feel a little bit irregular. And with this beat, for example, we have this very thin, very digital sounding, very pitched up, very bright hi-hat. And then we have this very boomy, colorful snare. And they feel like they have sort of nothing to do with each other, if that makes sense. Yeah, just like that approach to drums and sort of drum selection is something that makes the beat stand out a little bit in a negative way. I probably would have preferred to just have a little bit more of a straightforward hi-hat if you want to keep that snare. Yeah, this sort of mismatch of, because that feels like a little bit of a trappy hi-hat, but that's a boom bap snare. The sort of blending of textures can feel a little bit irregular. That's just for me though. It might be a personal thing. Polly, have a good night, my man. See you later. But yeah, outside of that one small little thing that might again just be my own personal pet peeve, really smart choices with a beat here. Great amount of balance overall. The beat felt like it worked with the vocals especially as well. So Graham, good job there, my man. All right, we got Pim and Reed. Let's see. Looks like we got Reed first, and then we'll finish it off with Pim's beat, and we'll call it a day. What is this? Untitled.stream? I've never seen this website before.
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or dough in hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some banking, because I'm dead and stinking. So all my shoes winging, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Gives his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, your baby will be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns still be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next to ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snort. Low, dope, nope, and hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of him, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract him, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back side of the bar and then attack him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, cause I got the ill street blues. Suckers are clobber, because my town is full of cops and robbers. You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. So I got to get with the business and hit quick. Money grips, pockets looking thick, so I stick slick. Hold it right there.
Give it a bit of a fade out here. I feel like we all pick up on what's strange about this beat. Just like Lancelot and Graham mentioned, drums feel off on the break near the end. Graham says, not sure how I feel about the drums. Yeah, I feel like with this beat, I actually do really like the core instrument. I feel like it's a good start to the beat. It's a good sort of core sound. It has some character to it. It feels like it fills up the beat quite a bit. But yeah, the drums were just, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. For some reason, the kick is like panned all the way to the right. It feels like there are lots of notes that are just completely off grid. I don't know. I know there's tutorials out there that say, turn off quantization if you want that real feel. I think that's just oftentimes, especially if you're newer to beat making, it's probably not going to be good advice. Don't feel guilty of putting sounds on grid. Just to get a good starting framework, and then maybe just slightly bumping things off if you want. But with this beat, with just how sloppy and off the drums are, it just sounds distractingly off.
Down to the silver section of town where the clowns still be paying for protection. They want us to send a message to...
And yeah, where the drums are, very odd as well. Like I mentioned, put your drums closer to the middle. If you want to slightly pan hi-hats and snares, that is one thing that can work. But especially with like a kick, I don't know why it's so panned so hard to the right there. So yeah, maybe with those adjustments, the beat probably could have sounded a little bit more cohesive. But in its current state, just be careful, be on the lookout next time, because that really did undermine the beat and its listenability to me. And then we'll finish off with Young Pim. Let's see what the Pim has for us.
front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or going hand, kicking a can. Thinking of a break to pull some banking, because I'm dead and stinking. So all my shoes winking, t-shirt is shrinking. Soon I see some thighs and my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick. What's up, black? Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac, your baby will be back. Jump right on the side, not too many people saw us, thinking about who gotta get robbed because the mob got a job for us. They drove us down to the silver section of town where the clowns still be paying for protection. They want us to send up my sister Jimmy the bartender, lend a friend of money next year ripping off his car fenders. He's coming up short cause he snorts coke, dope, nope, and hope he don't get caught. He owes some Benjamin Franklin's, every last bit of them, but Jimmy's pockets are empty, so now we gotta get rid of him. But Jimmy's wife is with him and they don't wanna involve her. Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast you, distract them, while I go and whack him. Enter through the back side of the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and tricked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody, they gotta pay their dues. You lose, plus I got the ill street blues.
All right, that's Pim's beat. Lancelot says lit sound selection, textures and dynamics are very smooth overall. Graham says this works well with the vocals too. I definitely agree with you guys. I really like this beat. Good job with the patterns, like we talked about before. This beat, or sorry, the sample itself has like a little bit more of a straightforward, you can say monotonous pattern to it, but the bass line sort of jumps up and down and it helps provide that variation. So yeah, you can hear the bass goes dun 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 dun, and then the sample just playing like a very consistent phrase. So that was really smart right there with the bass line. Good job with the chops as well. We have that fourth bar where we have some variation that helps just keep the beat from sounding repetitive overall, just because it feels very different, a lot more melodic as well. Yeah, I think this beat works with the vocals, enough space. I would say maybe just a tiny bit of compression on the master of the beat, just because for the vocals, when it does come in, it's just a volume thing.
Then my eyes open wide quick. Who's that with the chick? Bill blast my sidekick.
We lose a lot of that sort of texture from that guitar, especially in the sample.
Give his hand a smack. Then up pulls a Cadillac. Your baby will be back. Jump right on the side. Not too many people saw.
So I think just slightly boosting the sample volume, and you can do that through compressing the master or just trying to just merely boost the volume. Could get a nicer balance overall, but yeah, that was a really impressive beat. I really enjoyed this challenge here. A lot of great beats were submitted, so we'll keep going on with that. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these, and that's pretty much it. We've gone through the entire list of submissions. Hopefully you guys are learning a lot. I can tell a lot of great progress is made. But other than that, guys, hopefully you guys have a good Halloween. Don't frighten children too much.